Yes, people, welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you all well. It's time for the Premier League Roundup show, back once again for another week. Hope you're all watching. If you are, drop a like on the video, subscribe to West Ham Unofficial. If you want to check out our channel sponsors, SRM Carver and Son, by clicking the link in the description down below. It's that time of the week again where we are rounding up all of the weekend's Premier League action. Firstly, Shaun, how are you?
Yeah, really good, mate. Start of a busy week for me, so glad to have this little hour show to take my mind off the busy week. So let's crack into it.
Okie dokie then. So let's start off with the first game of the weekend, Friday night football, and it was certainly an eventful one. Wolves 2, Leeds 3. Did us, as West Ham, and you as Spurs, a massive favour, did Leeds?
Yeah, well, I think the game sort of Leeds have 4 injuries in the first hour again, or something ridiculous. I think they're trying to rush Bamford back to save their season a bit, and I think he's gone off injured twice now. I think it is already. I think it was the sending off which changed the game again. I think it was again it's these VAR laws they've got, because it was a second yellow card, and I don't think VAR can overturn that. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, it was more of a collision. He sort of ran into him, and I think it was that Kevin Friend. A lot of people don't. And it was almost like he did a bit of a Clattenburg. He sort of just whipped out the second yellow card, and that was it. Fair play to Leeds. They kept going and going. Leeds are going to be Leeds to the end of the season. They're going to let goals in. I don't know if they let in more goals than Norwich now. I'm not sure. They're gonna go to the end, conceding 2 or 3 a game. If they can nick one game but getting 1 goal more, that's what they're going to do. I don't think that new manager's going to improve them a lot. But because they might have that bit of firepower, excuse me, probably get them over the line. In all fairness, just maybe only because how bad Everton look though. So
yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely going to be it's definitely going to go down to the wire, that relegation battle. Evening, Gary. Hope you well. Where's Josh? Josh was unavailable tonight, so unfortunately, I'm stuck with Shaun on the nah, it's all right. It's all right. Hopefully Josh will be back next week. Moving on to the only game on because of the FA Cup. We're not going to talk about FA Cup because we want to get to the main event, unfortunately. Well, Shaun does, I don't. One game, Saturday, 3:00, and that no, it was Saturday 12:30, I think, and that was Aston Villa 0, Arsenal. When I'm sure Josh wasn't very happy. Arsenal celebrating like they won the league, and it's another 3 points for Arsenal, Shaun.
yeah, I think we said last week Arsenal on a nice little run where they're just getting over the line. I think they're playing quite well, but they're not exactly blowing teams away. They're just sort of doing enough. I think as you know, I've got a good friend who's a Leeds fan who banged on last year about their end of season form. And what he's not really used to Premier League football, so I had to explain this to him. I think towards the end of the season, you see a lot of teams playing for nothing, sort of putting iffy performances. Like I would have expected better from Villa and that. I don't even think they had a shot on goal at all until about the hour mark or something like that, on or off target. So, I think you got 7 or 8 teams at the top of the league and 4 or 5 at the bottom fighting for their targets. It could be decided what the teams in the middle, how they turn up. And so Villa, I think, I didn't see the interview, but on TalkSport they said about Gerrard he didn't seem in a good mood at all of it. Very snappy at the interviewer. But yeah, it's like Villa are a little bit like Southampton. I think they both put 3 or 4 wins together on the spin. You think, oh, look out. And then they go and chuck 3 or 4 defeats straight after it. So it's, like I said, the likes of the title, the European spots, relegation, it could be decided how these mid-table sides turn up. Same as Palace, you can chuck them as in one. Brighton, they go on a good run, bad run. If these teams feel like playing at the end of the season, they might upset a few, but don't be surprised if every team playing these sort of mid-table sides just sort of knock them over quite easily. And I think that's what Arsenal did in the end.
Yeah, I think we get to this stage of the season, 10 games left, the main culprits, you could say, Villa, Leicester, Brighton, they've all got their flip-flops out now, they're not playing for anything. I don't think any of them are left in any domestic cup competitions, there's only the FA Cup left. Palace are the only one left in that now.
Conference thing. Did they get through the other night? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, Leicester beat Rennes, I think, and got through there. But yeah, Villa, Brighton, they're just the flip flops are out now, and it could, it means absolutely nothing to them in the season and everything else, but it could be massive for the relegation battle, the top four battle, the Premier League title battle. If one of these sides go and hold Liverpool or Man City to a 0-0 draw like Palace did last week, that flips the title race on its head. So
yeah.
That is the Premier League. Nothing can really surprise you. Maybe if Leeds go down, we can get the two players we were after. Obviously, we thought we were after Rafinha and Phillips in the summer, and Shaun is violently shaking his head. But
I did actually read. Glad he mentioned Rafinha because as I keep saying, I got a mate who's a Leeds fan. He's adamant Rafinha's going nowhere. I'm telling him for ages he'd go. I did read. I don't know about half an hour ago because he's a bit like Salah. He's haggling over this new contract, but like a lot of these deals nowadays, apparently he wants to sign the contract but have this buyout clause installed in it. So I think he said no to the latest contract because they want a buyout clause of 70 million. So it's going to be a case of his agent, or I think Deco, the old Portuguese footballer and Barcelona, Chelsea player. He runs his company, who look after him, and this what he says at the end of the day, his contract's running down. Leeds got to realise what sort of size club they are, and I don't know if they get him to sign a deal and it's a 50 million buyout. I think both parties have probably got a good deal there, but I think he's probably looking for a bigger move than to West Ham, though.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Rumours have it Josh was saw in Stratford looking at West Ham shirt as well. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Sharky, hope you're well, my friend. Do you like the new emojis that I've whacked in? You're missing one though. Which one are you missing? Which one? Come on. Villa look flat. Yeah, they did, to be fair. We're saying hello to Sharky. Kitty West Ham Spurs comments until the end. We'll get onto that. I'm biting my lip, young man. Yeah, we'll get onto it a little bit later on. Yeah, no worries. What happened anyway? Yeah, nothing happened. I'm still thinking, we're all still thinking about that Sevilla game. And I know Shaun did a rip into us in about 15 minutes, but we'll wait for that. We will wait for that. Right, next up. That's it, isn't it? 20th of March. Let's move on. Oh, that's right. There's still one more game. Whew. Leicester 2, Brentford 1. Leicester, they won. The flip-flops are out, but they did win. Victorious over Brentford. I think Brentford are safe now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I forgot this game was on until it was nearly over, to be honest. I think from what I've read, Ericsson was out with COVID, so they missed him. But I think again, Brentford. I think they have more of the chances from what I heard on the radio today. But yeah, Leicester are a funny one. I think I've said all season. I wonder if Rodgers is fault. He's it takes me a sort of coach when his team hits the buffers, everybody thinks, right, I can't take the side anymore. He just then wants a jacket. Do you know what I mean? And with Leicester, I know they've got through the Premier League, the FA Cup, they even count the Charity Shield, whatever you call it now. Would not surprise me if you see them go for this Europa Conference a lot more vigorously than other clubs, because it is a trophy, but they'll love it as a trophy, and it's probably the only way they're going to get back into Europe. Their owners, they're ambitious, they're not as probably as ambitious as a lot of owners in the league, but they will want European football next year. So wouldn't surprise me if they go on and go close to winning that. Not that anyone's really taken any notes of them the minute. It was a good sort of little joke when Tottenham were in it, wasn't it? It's sort of the butt of everyone's jokes. Now Leicester, everyone forgets they're still going on, but that tells you the difference in clubs, I suppose. But yeah, Brentford are safe. Leicester probably a little bit of a forgotten team this year. Really, if you reel off all these teams blind without looking at a league table, Leicester are quite a forgettable side half the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, a forgettable game I forgot it was on, and probably two forgettable sides a little bit the last few weeks for me.
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, I think Leicester are still not quite right from when we battered them 4-1 at the start of the season. They never quite recovered for the rest of the season. And that, yeah, I think our electric tends to cut out about 11 minutes past 7 on a Monday night. I'm not quite sure what's happened. Yeah, of course, I did put the Ukraine emoji in just to show your respect if you'd like to. I was talking about the Craig Dawson one, Sharky, but it's lovely for you to put that one in. There we go. Right then, I've got plenty to say. I'm sure Shaun has got plenty to say, but just to prepare myself before we get into it, you know what we're talking about. Check out our channel sponsors, SIM Carver and Son, by clicking the link in the description down below. Shaun, prepare yourself. We'll be back in 15 seconds. Please check out our channel sponsors here on West Ham and official SRM Carver and Son. SRM Carver and Son provide crushing, screening and aggregate recycling services across southern England. You can check out SRM Carver and Son and more information by clicking the link in the description down below. Once again, a fantastic and a huge thank you to SRM Carver and Son for sponsoring West Ham and official, and come on your irons. So the last game of the weekend, Spurs 3, West Ham United 1. Let's let Shaun have his say first, and then I'll have my say, and then we'll just talk about it some more. Shaun,
okay. I feel a little bit bad that I wasn't more confident with the result really the other day when we did the preview show on Saturday evening, because I said all the right things. I said to you that our form the last 4 or 5 games has been good. Better team at Old Trafford, but silly marking, set piece. You scored from a set piece again. It's our weakness. And I said to you all the players that are playing well. Romero will be class. Bentancur looks like he can run games. Kulusevski has been a brilliant January signing. And then I bottled it and went 1-0. So I feel a little bit bad. But yeah, I thought I'm not really interested. We'll talk about it, I'm sure, in a bit. I'm not really interested in talking about the tired from the Thursday night flim flam. I think that's a bit of a lame excuse, but we'll come on to that after. I thought Moyes, I know he doesn't like making changes. I thought going to the back three, it's basically a 3-4-3 to match Tottenham, wasn't it, really? I don't know whether he did that to cover a couple of niggles or whether he thought he could put a couple of men in the spots that could nullify Tottenham. And then he also played the high line. I think I retweeted to you or your dad saying, I think it's David Kilpatrick, I think his name's in the Standard. Teams that go to Tottenham and play the high line get rinsed. Okay, that is what happened with Frank Lampard went there. It's one of the worst tactics to play Tottenham at. If you sit deep, play the low block, nullify Tottenham, we are not that great. If you play open, play high, any ball in behind. I even covered it on Saturday night about Reguilon. He's not a left wing back. His final ball is terrible. You can see Conte's face every time he misses one. But in the last 2 games, he should have scored 4 goals because Kane, he knows where he's going. He hits a reverse curling pass over the top, round the back, and he's in either for another square ball or a shot, which I think he put one in the side netting yesterday. Yeah. The Moyes' tactics, irrelevant who he's picked, irrelevant how leggy they are, the tactics were odd, especially for an experienced coach. They were the complete opposite of what he should have done. I don't know. They had enough legs there to keep a 0-0 or a 1-1, sit deep. Do you know what I mean? I think the fact that that's Conte's formation 3-4-3. So you've got to be brave to go to Tottenham and play high and match him man for man at 3-4-3. You've got to be brave. And I think because Tottenham now are well oiled at that, I think the first goal summed it up. I think was it Cresswell, the left centre back of the 3? Yeah. I know you boys are bang on. Masuaki shouldn't have played, blah, blah, blah. He's out there. You can't make him the scapegoat. The ball to him from Cresswell was lazy, right? It wasn't sharp enough, but it also reminded me of a sort of ball where the players aren't used to that formation. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know.
I'll get on to that in a minute, yeah.
Doherty, he was snapping at that ball before your left wing back knew what was happening. Okay, so if you're playing the ball out, if you play 3-4-3, the left, you've got to have more structure to your play. It was almost like, oh, I don't know where I'm going to play this. I'm going to play like a slowish ball out to the player to my outside left. Do you know what I mean? It screamed to me of a ball in a formation you're not used to. And the ball was whipped away from his feet. I think then next thing you know, they didn't know what to do with Kane because, as I said on Saturday night as well, Kane drops deep, Kane goes up. They didn't know what to do with Kane. Kane got 3 assists. Look, do you know what I mean? And what do you do? It's hard to mark, but he picked the ball up on the 18-yard box at that point, and I think he had about 5 West Ham players around him, and he just sort of he's not lightning quick player. He just sort of almost drove past them through the hole. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah, that was that. That was 1-0. I thought the second goal, to remember the second goal, that was Son the one he got, wasn't it? Again, it was all a little bit easy. And then obviously you got your set piece goal. That is Tottenham's weakness. I don't even think Dawson got actually won the header. I think we flicked it on when I seen it in slow motion. But again, marking was terrible at the back post and a great finish. I think I read a few more journalists report, and this does something what I think of the game really. Conte would be very happy with the 3-1, but what he still won't be that happy about is how clinical we are. Because I went the last game I went to was an Everton game, and we wasted chances a bit like we did yesterday, but we went in at halftime 3-0 up. Now, if you're wasting 2 or 3 and then going in at 3-0 up, you take that, don't you? But I think at halftime, if obviously you deserve your goal because it was a good goal, but I think Conte looked at it with a percentage of play and the chances, he would have wanted another 3-0. Do you know what I mean? I think we had 2 or 3 other quite good chances, but I think we hit the post, Son hit the post, and he, like I said, Reguilon could have got another. So it's 2-1. That's edgy. Do you know what I mean? You don't know what's going to happen. And then in the past, almost like you're waiting for the equaliser to go in. But I think Conte sums it up in his interviews. The team look more united now. Tottenham, they worked out how to manage the clock a little bit better. I'm sure he'll get on the Son having a little throwing himself to the floor in a minute. But that
And
was
you weren't the only one, Shaun, and you know it.
that was just Son, and he was just he wasn't. I'll get my bit in now. If he went down there holding his calf, then I slate him for it. But I think he just went down having a bit of a laugh, to be honest. What he's got a bad habit of is when we win a corner and he time wastes and winds up the opposition fans. There was another one you might not have even seen where I think it was Emerson Royale sort of went down and he's sort of looking like that and he's laying there like in the fetal position. You can see him laughing. But I think I think it was more just a bit of fun, really. But anyway, but yeah, I think 3-1. Obviously, you'll be happy with it. I think Conte and myself probably thinks that maybe should have been 1 or 2 more on balance of play. And like I said, to go in at 2-1 at halftime, felt like we chucked the half away a little bit. But second half, I think you were done. I think you had 1 or 2 shots over the bar. And then the final goal summed up playing were you playing back 4 by the time the third one went in?
Yeah, Masuaku came off and we went back to our conventional back 4, I think, yeah.
Yeah, for 2 players that have been in good form for you, Zuma and your favourite lad, Dawson, they made a right mess of that the third one. And you know how Son and Kane play. Cressel's playing them on a mile onside. But then both to go up with Kane, it was a bit of a mess. But yeah, I suppose I'm very happy with 3-1. But they're at the stage now where Tottenham are playing well, where they could probably put the game to bed a little bit earlier throughout the tension. But
yeah, when we saw the lineup downstairs, there was an initial Masuaku. You know, there were doubts on the day whether Rice and Antonio were going to make it. They both made it, so we were all pretty happy about that. And then we saw Masuaku in there, and we were talking before the game, and we were thinking there's 2 ways he's going to do it. He's going to do the back 3/back 5 with Masuaku as the left wing back, or he's going to put Masuaku on the left wing because David Moyes feels like he's got to make a change in there somewhere. So he's going to swap a straight swap for Fornals for Masuaku and put him out on the left-hand side. That's what I wanted him to do. We came out and played a back 5, and up until the goal, I thought 8-9 minutes, whatever it was. I think we were doing okay. We were keeping the ball all right, and then down there, poor pass from Creswell, and then Masuaku loses the ball, comes down into the middle, 1-0, and it's just like that. And then the second one, good goal from Son. I was stood there now thinking this could be a cricket score, but that's what I was saying back in October 2020. But unfortunately, we didn't have scenes like that. But and then we scored, and like 2-0, everybody in there was just puzzled on how Masuaku was playing and why he was playing, and B, that we just weren't there, which some fans expected, but it just wasn't there. And then we scored, and there was only one way we were going to score in that match. It was from a set piece, and that's what we did. I I did think Dawson got the final touch, went on, and Benrahma superb. And the one thing you've got to say, you've got to give praise to Benrahma. That's a superb technique to get that and keep it down and not blaze it over the bar and put it into that corner. Have question marks got to go on Lloris, whether he's being beaten at his near post there? Probably not.
I wouldn't have that at all. I think he's hit it unmarked. Lloris can't really. If a keeper saves that at his near post, then you say it'd be one of the saves of the season.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it back many times, that goal, but I know Kane spotted him late and tried to. If he sort of reacted, I don't know if he was meant to be marking him. I don't actually know. I haven't seen enough replays, but he was end of the day, he was unmarked, and we conceded. We let in a winner against United when Ronaldo was unmarked from a corner, and I think United had the worst goals from set pieces in the league there. I think it was awful. So it's nothing new. But, yeah, carry on, mate.
Yeah, and the second half, and my issue with the subs was at half time I would have took Masuaku off, brung on Fornals, and I said this on the vlog. If you watched it at half time when I did my little thing at half time on the vlog, is that I would have took Masuaku out at half time. It clearly wasn't working, and I would have went, you know what, David Moyes, fair play. If he would have took Masuaku off at half time, we realised whatever the plan was, it hasn't worked. Let's take Masuaku off. Let's go back to our conventional 4-2-3-1, and let's put Fornals out on that left-hand side, or even on the 35th minute, even when we scored to make it 2-1, send a message out there, tell Masuaku to push up into that left wing position and go back to our back four. But we didn't do that. We stuck by it, and then the subs were made. Now, yes, Masuaku wasn't great, and yes, Antonio wasn't great. You take those two players out, and we were devoid of any pace in that game whatsoever. That took the very minimal amount of pace we had in that side, and it just stripped it out, because the players we had left on the pitch were Lanzini, who's getting on, who's ain't got pace. Fornals ain't got pace. Benrahma, he's a bit nippy and zippy, but there's no real pace there. Took it out completely, and you could tell the midfield, Souček and Rice, were knackered, and there was just a feeling of the fans as well just couldn't be bothered. And the fact is that I think Nicky said on West Ham Fan TV on his morning after, and he said, I was tired from coming back from Sevilla and then going on Sunday. No wonder what the players were feeling like. And we're not used to this. And I know, Shaun, you're going to come back in a minute by saying this and that and the other about playing Thursday night. But let me say this first, is that we played 125 minutes in the end. 125 minutes on Thursday night. And we put absolutely everything in that game. We come back, we fly back Friday morning, maybe Thursday night at a push, possibly Friday morning. We're not going to train on Friday, maybe Friday afternoon, possibly Friday afternoon. Saturday, train, Sunday, game. We knew that we were going to have this, and everybody has this issue playing in Europe. And I think if you would have played on that Thursday night abroad, Shaun, I think you wouldn't have had the same zip about you, if I'm being honest. I thought, yes, you've got the players, you've got more players, and we made two changes in that game from Thursday night, and one of them was the keeper, and the other one was Fornals for Masuaku, because we have got nobody else there, and there's only one man who's to blame for that, and that is David Moyes for not bringing in players that we clearly need. But we set up in a back five, and I say this week after week, and Sharky said it about Dawson up here. Where is it? I've got the ump with Big Craig. He did not do well yesterday. Every single time we play a back five, I'm going to continue to say this. Craig Dawson does not like playing in a back five. He doesn't know what he's doing in a back five. There's no coincidence. Every time we play in a back five, he has a nightmare. He had a nightmare yesterday. So did Kurt Zouma, and that's a clear example for the third goal. Both of them went running for the same ball, and they both tried to head the ball. There's no communication there. That doesn't happen in the back four, because we had Creswell playing in a bit more. Dawson didn't have a clue what balls he was supposed to go for. They clearly haven't done enough work with the centre-backs to fit them into a back five system, but David Moyes went with it. Why? I don't know. I would have stuck with the back four. Why he did it, he obviously thought something, and it didn't work in the end. It's done now. We're going to have to move on. It's probably, West Ham fans have said, probably the least mattered that most of us have been about a West Ham Spurs game in the last few years after Thursday night, and obviously getting through. If we would have lost on Thursday night and then lost on Sunday, I think we would have all just been almost season over in the end. But we're through now. We've still got plenty to play for in the Europa League. If we can have a good run towards the end of the season in the Premier League. Spurs have now run away. They've still got a game in hand on us, and they're 3 points ahead of us now. But Spurs can do a Spursy like they always do. Lose games, we start winning games again. Anything can happen. Let's take some of your comments. Gareth, this question for Shaun: does he think his team will win every game until the end of the season? Because when we have had a long rest, we will. Let me rephrase this, Shaun. Do you believe now that you're firm favourites to get 6th at the very least, or 5th? Try and push United for that 5th spot.
Good question. I think it's sort of in the balance a little bit. I think I'd make Arsenal favourite. I'd make Arsenal the favourites for the 4th spot. I think we're probably just ahead of United for the 5th spot at the moment, but
yeah,
it can change every week. We've got, on paper, we haven't got the toughest next 4 games. I think we got Newcastle, Villa, Brentford, and Leicester, maybe. So on paper, it's not massively difficult, but it depends how the team's set up against us. Like I said earlier, if teams go a bit open and they don't care so much, and they like if Gerrard thinks, right, I'm too bit like Lampard, I'm too much of a bit of a footballing connoisseur. I'm not going to play negative and set up like that. I'm going to go for them. Then they could get taken apart. But no, any team's going to win every game. I think Tottenham have started to play a lot better the last. I think is that 5 wins in 6 now. I think we've got. I might be wrong. I know it's win loss a bit, but then we did have 2 league wins back to back, and then we went to United when we were the better side, lost there, and then we obviously beat you in Brighton. So performances are getting better. We've got obviously I've got concerns about the international break because Romero's gone off, and last time he went on that, he missed 3.5 months of the season. So I don't know. No one's going to win every game. I think Arsenal will even drop points. I think Arsenal have got a tricky 11 days. I think they've got Man U, Chelsea, and your lot in the space of 11 days. So if they only pick up 4 points out of that, and I don't really know, I find United probably harder to predict than anyone. I just don't.
With the run-ins, I think Arsenal have got probably the trickier, but they are at an advantage for the top 4. I'd say West Ham and Spurs have got quite a similar difficulty of running. We've got Everton, Brentford, Burnley, Chelsea, Arsenal, Norwich to end the season. We've got and then because this only goes up to the Norwich game, then you've got Man City, and then is it Brighton, last game of the season. So we've got some difficult games in there, but then, games we might find difficult to get over the line. We've got the Everton, who aren't doing very well. Brentford, who've got nothing to play for. Burnley, they'll be up for it. Norwich, they're down. And then you've got Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, Brentford, Leicester, Liverpool. That's up to the 7th of May. I don't know who you've got last 2 games of the season, but
the North London derby at our place.
Right, yeah.
And Sky are refusing the announcement that is at the moment because they're fingers crossed as a big finale finish. The honest answer is I don't honestly know. I think Spurs are hitting a better form. I think a big key difference as well. A lot of our players, but for probably last season and the first half of this season, been playing beneath themselves. They've been playing to their full potential. And I think now they started to come up. Big difference to Tottenham as well. I thought we bought very, very well in January. Yeah. Bentancur run that midfield yesterday. And Kulusevski is a very powerful, dangerous attacking midfielder. I think that they're both very astute signings. They both took the Premier League like a duck to water. So, yeah, if everyone can stay fit, Romero's back in fit. I think he's a class act. Our weakness is wing backs. Conte needs new wing backs. He was starting to prefer Sessegnon. I'm not sure it's probably good enough anyway, but he's now out. He's done his hamstring for the 2nd, the 3rd time in the season. The honest answer, I'd say at the moment, if we're going to be favourites in one spot, it'd be 5th. That's what I say as it stands.
Let me ask you this question now, because you mentioned the January transfer window, and this is from an outsider looking in with a slightly biased perspective. I don't like Spurs, can't stand them. But Spurs, and you say on Twitter, Spurs fans, they just have arguments left, right, and centre, and there's uproar about Levy in charge. Now, from the outside looking in, and many fans have said this, is that some fans don't know what the complaints are. You've got one of the best managers in the world, Antonio Conte, managing you. Let's look at this January transfer. You brought in Kulusevski, who's been excellent. You've brought in this Benton Kerr, who was excellent. You've brought in some wise signings. You have spent money. What side of it are you on? Because of course you've got two sides of it, and we've got it here. You know, there's a very small minority that like our ball, and there's the massive majority that want them gone out of this door today. With Spurs, I just at the moment with the signings and the manager, I think you're not doing too bad. But what's your take of it on Levy and everything?
There's what you've just said about in the last Conte and the signings. That's a very short-term view. I think a lot of fans. I think there's a diagram you can find where it's got the different ownerships over how long they're at the club and the trophies that they've won. But Daniel Levy, under his tenure, we've won one trophy since he's been there in 20 years. That's the worst ownership tenure Tottenham have ever had. So that's one thing. So the older generation will look at that straight away. Okay, I've supported Tottenham since the very late 80s. So, but my first problem with Daniel Levy probably was during the probably Martin Yeo era. So Martin Yeo, that would have been around the time you had Lasagna Gate, around that time, okay? Martin Yeo, we sort of floated around mid-table. In fact, we're probably a little bit like West Ham a few years ago. We flirted with like the bottom half for quite a bit. We didn't go down, but there was a few seasons where we were like, hang on a minute, we need something to happen here. And then Martin Yeo come in, and it changed the nature of the club. We started spending lots of money. We started having very good players. Like we had the likes of Berbatov, players like that. Do you know what I mean? And I think Modric might have come at the end of that. I can't remember. But as soon as we started spending a bit of money, Daniel Levy then thought, right, I want Champions League football. Instantly, maybe with his money head, it was Champions League. So Martin Yeo got us to 5th twice and 6th, and he was sacked at half time during the game. And so again,
only Spurs could do that. Sorry, Shaun.
So,
I know. I take the mick. Only Spurs could seriously sack the manager at half time.
Yeah. So again, so if you think you're a fan of a certain age, that's another thing. It doesn't get forgotten. By coincidence, the manager he brought in went on. He was only there 6 months. Won our last. You can tell me his name now. So I'm not even going. We won't get into that. And after that, we had a few. So Tottenham fans thought that's a mistake, because after that, I think we had 2 or 3 managers in the space of no time. Got him Redknapp when I think we were about 15th or 16th that season. We got him Redknapp. He's like, it was no brainer he's going to keep us up. We had good players. I think we still had like Jermaine Defoe, the likes of him in the team. And then straight away we started building again. So he's doing what Yoel's doing. Probably my favourite era in recent times with Redknapp. We're spending money. We're getting good players. We've qualified for the Champions League for the first time. The next season, obviously, there was a season, it must have been the following season, where we were really in the title race. So this is the one that bugs me a little bit with Daniel Levy. We were in the title race. I think we were second with the best run-in at Christmas. And if you listen to Harry Redknapp in interviews talking about Levy, he races in the last window. He was after 2 players, a centre-forward and a centre-half. He bangs that drum. All it needed was, back then, if you'd have spent 25 million on a player each for that, you'd have got quality. Daniel Levy ended up giving him Ryan Nelson, who was a 34-year-old Blackburn centre-half out of contract. And he got Louis Saha, I believe, on loan from Man U. Do you know what I mean? And that we had a chance for the title that season, and there's no doubt about it at all. And as you'd expect, I think we fizzled off down into 3rd or something like that. I can't remember. So that's him. And then we go and mess around with we lose Bale. So we mess around again. Then we got the money. Then the money's spent largely poorly. He gets AVB, who's another Chelsea reject. No good at all. He was absolutely clueless as a manager. That's another mistake. To get rid of him, I think Tim Sherwood took over a bit. Then he got the sack. Do you know what I mean? So then he's doing it cheaply. Levy got lucky then that Kane come through the ranks. For years we were crying out for centre forward, and yet again the money was never coming forward. So it's more like mistake after mistake after mistake. There's
Fair
no
enough.
bother fans I'm not bothered about. So then it brings you on to like Pochettino. Pochettino openly said, a bit like Conte did, you get to a stage of a team where you need a little rebuild. You can't drag a team on for so long. I think Tottenham are the only team in Premier League history that didn't buy a player. I think it was 3 consecutive windows. So no one in January, no one at all in the summer, and then no one in January. Now I know that would have coincided roughly with trying to spend a lot of money on the stadium. But then if you're happy to watch your team just fade and fade and fade, and to be quite honest, that sort of brings us up to when we reached the Champions League final. That almost that was Levy's dream because it covered over so many cracks. We got there. We got to the final with some massive moments of magic, but he didn't invest again. Pochettino told him to invest. The next 3 months after that summer, after the final, we looked like a team that didn't want to be out there.
I think
like that, a lot of mini frustration. So then he's got Paratici, and after this mess, excuse me. So now he's got Conte, got Paratici doing deals. So there's reasons why a lot of people will be frustrated with him because he's pulled the plug when they've been on the brink 2 or 3 times. You know what I mean? And he's almost like,
yeah.
don't need anyone. Sacking Pochettino, it was time in a way. Do you know what I mean? You know, when you can tell it's got stale. It probably got stale around January. We got to the final in May, and he probably didn't get sacked till like November. So it was almost like Tottenham fans love Pochettino. So to watch the brilliant team we have and the coaching staff they love almost go through the pain. It was almost like a long drawn out death. Do you know what I mean? You knew that Pochettino had sort of had enough. He's fed up with the false promises. If you believe the conspiracy theorists, there's a rumor that Pochettino knew long before Mourinho got the job that Levy had been talking to him. With Conte, I love Conte. I think he's class in every way. Paratici. Also, when we have spent money, it's been absolutely atrocious. So we got £150 for a player out on loan. Don't forget that. These 2 new players that are great. We've got Ndombele cost 50 million and Lo Celso 40 million, both other side of Europe playing football at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's mistake after mistake after mistake.
Shaun, we'll let you take a break for now. Let's take some comments. Have a drink. Let's take some comments. Let's have a look then. So, best thing about yesterday, yeah. So just in front of us to the right was Ben Rama's mum. She was at Watford away. Of course, when Ben Rama scored, it was a really nice thing to see. So she was very happy. You could sell that. But let's have a little scroll down then. Kane outpaced Zuma. Yeah, probably Zuma's worst game in a West Ham shirt, if I'm being honest. He's been excellent from when he's come in, but yesterday wasn't up to the mark. Was that because the fact is that I don't think he likes the back 5 system, back 3 system as well. I don't particularly think that's right. I don't particularly think he likes that as well. So, you know, Son cried at the ref for him running straight into him, and now he knows how a player feels. Oh, the whole Sun debacle. He tried to tie himself to the post, didn't he? Yeah, that's what it looked like. So from both ends, there was players that there was people that a woman at our end tried to, and she fell to the floor right in front of the away end. Of course, the abuse she got, and she just fell to the ground, and then the steward came and wiped her and just took her away, which was quite funny. Mandy says, let's face it, Spurs were up for the derby, having only the league to focus on, and we were understandably tired. As much as the defending wasn't great, without the deflections of Zuma, Tottenham's first 2 goals wouldn't have gone in. I half expected a back 5. Moyes knew they were tired, so played for the draw. 2 early goals messed up the game plan. Yeah, I suppose I'm inclined to agree with that, to be honest. Happy Hammerat, hope you are well. Hope you're keeping well. Welcome break now, says usual suspect, before hopefully a big finish this season. Yeah, I agree. Of course, we've heard the not so brilliant news that Jared Bowen's going to be out for a little bit more, quite a big portion more than expected. He's expected to miss the first Lyon game now. The Athletic put it on. I haven't had a chance to read it, but people just put it on Twitter about it, which isn't fantastic. It's not good for him. Zuma had spoons for feet, his worst game for us. 2-1 second half, we started pushing but ran out of steam. Yeah, I think it was. And then when you took Antonio out of it, I thought Antonio was poor, but I would have left him on for another 5-10 minutes for me, because Yarmolenko came on and he tried and he did run and he a couple of flicks, and on another day that works, but you can't be lumping the ball up to Antonio, up to Yarmolenko, and that's what we try to do. And you can't expect anything to come from that. Let's scroll down. Trodge says modern football fullback or wing backs are more of an important position. Pep spent 200 mil on Fort until we got it right. That's a good point. Yeah, that this whole wing back and you need flipping good wing backs to make this system work. And Spurs have suffered the consequences for that in the past with nightmares from Doherty and Reguilon and whoever else they've got. But you've got to get some flipping good wing backs for that to work for sure. We got two half decent fullbacks, one weak in defence, the other in attack. Kulusevski was man of the match, I thought, says Trodge. The ball throwing incident, right? Let's get on to the diving and the antics and all of that then. So, Shaun, I know you don't want to talk about it, but I do, because I'm clutching at straws and that's what I do. Now we couldn't see it because we were right down the front, so we could barely see much up the other end. And all of a sudden there was a bit of argy-bargy going on, and that's when all the protesters started coming on, and it was all kicking off, and there was just a big stoppage in the game. Obviously, saw it better in tele on the TV. I've seen the clip after, and from what I can see of it, Kurt Zuma nudges the ball towards Son, and it's even before the ball makes contact with his leg, and the minimal contact it had, he stumbled and then fell to the floor. Listen. There's nothing in the game for that. I don't know what that's achieving. And I know, Shaun, you said that's a bit of fun. Is that a bit of fun? I don't think he thought anybody was going to laugh at him flopping to the floor, to be honest with you. I
also don't think he was, maybe not fun's not the right word, but I don't think he was also looking to claim a foul or anything. I think he was just
being stupid. I think he was, to be honest with you, just being stupid.
I didn't see. I've only seen a slow replay of Carter. That's what you've probably seen. But I know he can wind opposition up when he's walking slow to take corners, and it looked like he was walking off to take a corner or something. And Zuma sort of looked like he just gently toe punted the ball, didn't he, or something? It hit him in the calf, and
yeah.
But I'd imagine he reacted to the bit of the hoo-ha that went on behind him and went down, and he sort of put his arms up. What's going on? Put it this way: I've seen dozens and dozens of worse things happen this season than worse. But it's, I don't know. I don't think he won't claiming a foul or anything. Was he won't claiming to be hurt? I think it's just a tip.
But the thing that annoyed me, and I think it was Reguilon came from that side, complaining about it, and Johnson went and pushed him, and no, listen, mate, he's just flopped to the floor, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. I think Reguilon tried to appeal for something, and then because what we saw, we thought people standing around us, so somebody punched him or something, or somebody went and pushed him, because we couldn't quite see. And of course, this woman was flipping going up and down with her, trying to tie herself to the post and.
Don't even see it himself either, to be honest. I expect reacting out of some, I haven't seen the replay with the crowd noise. I expect the crowd made a noise and Reguilon reacted to that, and I personally don't think it goes on. There's been a lot worse. I don't think if he was holding his calf like it hurt him, then I'd be like, that's a joke. Do you know what I mean? But
the other one was, I think it was Reguilon again, and the ball was played over top, and Reguilon got a bit of an opening, and Johnson was there, and I've seen it back many times, and if there was contact, there was very minimal of it, and Reguilon went down appealing for a penalty, and he was told to get up and get on with it, and he started kicking his legs and going like this and going like that, and you're just like, just why, mate? Just get on with it. As well as the 60,000 in the stadium and the millions watching at home that you've just dived. Get on with it. Get on with it.
I think they can't make a fuss. It stops them making look silly, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? If they kick off, then it makes them look like they're adamant that they're right. So I think it's all part of the pantomime, isn't it? Really, there's not pantomime football, and we got to like it a lump, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Let's say some comments. Troy says we were 2-1 as Spurs claimed I'm moaning for everything that was blatantly ours. Kane was in the ear of the ref after every decision. Well, when is he not, to be honest with you? When is he not?
That's what you want. Well, Loris is the captain. You sort of want your on-field captain to do that, really. I don't, as long as he's not going too far, I think you kind of want that. Maybe Rice should do that a bit more. I don't know, but I think that's what I'd want is one of the leaders on the pitch.
Yeah. Simon, hope you are well, my friend. Chelsea played FA Cup against Borough, got through quite easy, didn't they, Simon? I think just our luck, Simon, is we're going to be the first club that's not going to be given an away end for Chelsea away because obviously all the sanctions that was put in, so it's going to be an empty away end. Dear me. Hope you are there, mate. You got 650 at Middlesbrough now. You've got nobody bar the 29,000 season ticket holders at home now. So have fun for the rest of the season. Absolutely shattered. Rich, you had a busy few weeks at work, hence my absence. That's okay. You are rescinded of punishment, my friend. Zero the hero. Zuma's been all right in a 3-man defence in the past. He has been, but I just think the fact that Dawson didn't have a clue what he was doing. Just all came into it. But Max says we need to put all of our eggs in the Europa League basket now. Seventh is the best we can hope for in the league. It's split whether we want Conference League or not, because I think it would be quite fun until it starts affecting our Premier League forms. Because we go into all these obscure places that we've been taking the mick at Leicester and Spurs to going through blooming Randers and all these clubs you've never heard of in Denmark and Slovakia and all of these places. But if we get it, we've got it, and we've just got to go with it. Let's have a look. Ball lightly hit him, and he tries to get him sent off. I don't know how players aren't booked for that 100%. They're a good team, Spurs. No need for the dramas. Happy Hamoret says Don embarrassing himself. Son, that should say, embarrassed himself last night. The diving for nothing was stupid. Reguilon, I'm so annoying. Nothing came with slapping Creswell. I'm still so frustrated by the game and not just because we lost. I think it's frustration but acceptance at the same time, and that's like contradicted itself at the same time. Frustrating, but we've got to accept that this is what happens when we've got an incredibly thin squad and we put absolutely everything into 120 minutes of football 4 days before a derby against a decent side like Spurs that can carve you open on your good day. But Zero the hero says drama is a part of it. Nothing really happens in the end, and it's pointless to talk about it. The match is done, the result won't change, and there are future matches to worry about. I agree, we've got to move on now, and that is it. Some went down because the ref wasn't far away. Everybody talking about that. So many comments. VAR is used for silly things, but not diving. Yeah, see, with honestly, talk about VAR, we'd be here all night. But things like corners, and there was a game where it was I think it was Thursday night against Sevilla, where it blatantly came off a Sevilla head and it was given a goal kick. And I said, this is what VAR should be used for. The VAR man should be looking at that and being in his ear saying, no, it came off the Sevilla head. It's a West Ham corner. But because it's not, what do they call it? Clear and conclusive, like match changing, red card, serious foul play, they don't get involved. But Shaun, final thoughts? Spurs 3, West Ham United 1.
Yeah, final thoughts, and I don't know if you're going to have any comments after. I just want to address this Tired Thursday thing. I'm not knocking West Ham too much because this is your first season in Europe in more or less forever. So you're going to get used to it. I think you said at the start of the season, it's going to take Sunday, it's going to take a toll on your legs and what have you. But I know it's a bit tongue-in-cheek about this, West Ham are massive. What do West Ham want as a club going forward? Do you want this to be a one-season wonder in Europe? Because there's a chance that could happen. Do you know what I mean? I'm not knocking you last season. Probably the reason you weren't expected to get Europe last year. You probably did well, but half the reason you got it is because some bigger sides weren't at the races. My point of it really is you played home on Thursday night, didn't you? It was at the London Stadium. So you played at home. I know you played 125 minutes, but you're at home, okay? Your game on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock was effectively at home. It's in London, okay? Tottenham played only the night before in Brighton, okay? So I'll give you a minor bit of advantage for tiredness, okay? Only a minor bit. If you look across the rest, I did do a little bit of research, so I might get a few of these facts wrong because I haven't got a printout in front of me. If you look across the rest of the Thursday night Europa League games, okay, Seville, they played in London, so they had to fly back to Spain, okay? They played yesterday afternoon about 3 o'clock, I think it was, against a team in northern Spain, so they've had to fly again, okay? It was second versus sixth, it was 0-0, okay? The other team from Seville, I think it's Betis, they also think they got knocked out, didn't they, to Leon, was it? You might have, I can't remember. But they also then had to then, they played away, then they flew back home, then they flew to Sociedad in the north of Spain, okay? Rangers played Thursday, they played in Belgrade. They flew back, they won on Sunday afternoon in Scotland. Barcelona, I know it's the great Barcelona, are well attuned to European football, like you're not. They won away in Galatasaray in Turkey. They flew back to Spain. Then they flew from Spain to Madrid. And yesterday they beat Real Madrid 4-0 on the Bernabeu. So my point is, are you happy? It's all very well and good. Oh, we got to focus on this. But at some point, if West Ham want to try and join the brigade of clubs that are regularly top 7, 8 clubs, which West Ham are regularly expected to be there. But this will be the second season. If you want to take them to a third or fourth season, tired, oh, we didn't want to do. That's not an excuse. That it just can't be. You've got to manage it. Like, then there's no excuse whatsoever. Whether you want to knock Moyes, like you said about Tottenham with Martin Yeo, I'm not saying West Ham just sack Moyes, but the club and the fans, you get to a point as a football fan where your expectations rise. Do you know what I mean? Like, just hearing you what it was like in the stands at 2-0 down, you almost said it. This is. I know we joke about, oh, it's your cup final, your cup final. You know it's one of your biggest games of the season as a West Ham fan. But because what went on Thursday is almost like, sounds like the fans weren't as bothered as normal.
No, they weren't.
Well, now answer that in your own head. That is a bit strange. And I know you're saying having Europe's unusual. So what I'm saying, if you want this to be a one-off, or you want it, your mentality of the club and the fans at some point has got to change, okay? So I just reeled off about 4 or 5 random clubs who, some of them aren't much bigger than West Ham as football clubs, but they've have more travelling, and just because you had an extra 20, 35 minutes on the field, some of these clubs had to travel across Europe for their game. Do you know what I mean? Some of these clubs, I don't know example, they might have even not flown back until the Friday morning. Some of them stay over because it gets so late. So there's got to get a point where West Ham, I know it's tongue in cheek saying you're massive, but at the moment, in a weird way, the mentality is quite small. If you want to treat it like a one-off, that's great. But at some points, that mentality has just got to change. And I'm not saying sack Moyes, but clubs do sack. Once you get a taste of Europe and the owners get a taste of the money that Europe brings, it gets to a point where, hang on a minute, you've got to manage Thursday, Sunday. Now, West Ham, you won the last 16 games. If you get knocked out by Leon and your season finishes and you fizzle out to 8th, some could argue that you've gone backwards this season. Because
the way we look at it is that this is new to us as a football club, and a proportion of the fan base expected us to go back down this season with Europe. There's going to be a summer rebuild in the summer. There's no denying that. David Moyes has got no other option but to bring in quite a few players in the summer, because we've got 8 players, I think, who are either loaned and at this stage aren't going to be made a permanent deal. Areola might be, Crow, he won't be. We've got players like, obviously, Martin Noble's retiring. We've got plenty of players out of contract in the summer. The way I look at it is that I can see where you're coming from, Shaun, but this is new to us, and there's a reason we've put all of our eggs in this Europa League basket. The fact is that I think it's 41 years since we've last been in this, and I get it, we want to be sustainable in there, but us as a club want those special European nights. If we would have just went out on Thursday night with a, with just a sigh, then it would have been it would have been incredibly frustrating. And we're putting everything into the Europa League because we might not get that again for 10, 20, 30 years. We are West Ham, who aren't expected to be in Europe every year, to be in this top half, pushing sides like Man United, Arsenal for this top 4 spot. This is we are here because we've had a bit of luck and we are overachieving. We didn't bring in any players in January, which has just made it even worse. And we've got one striker. Most clubs have got 3 or 4 strikers. Where we are, I know Arsenal haven't got any strikers, but you've got a few players that can play as a striker. United, they've got like 5 strikers. Everybody around us has got a bigger squad, and that's and you lot can't do anything about that. That's on us, and that's on David Moyes and whoever decided to not sign anybody in the end. But we want to go for this Europa League, and we've gone for it now. We took this Spurs game as a forfeit. Of course, if we go far and we finish 6th, and then we make it more sustainable, I'm sure we'll get more into the Premier League side of things. But at the moment, this is our first season in this, and we want to go for it, and there's nothing stopping us.
I think the owners will. I know it's possibly a bit unfair, but if you get no Europe next year, and that obviously includes not winning this, so no Europe at all, how do you think the owners? Because the owners aren't very understandable people. Do you know what I mean? They're not. Like you're talking sense. Owners don't always see it that way. Do you know what I mean? You've got you're doing a rebuild, and obviously any European run pay, it might bring 50 million into the club for revenue and all that nonsense. So how would the owners take it? Because you're sort of at this crossroads now where if you don't win this, you've had a fun run, but you possibly might go backwards in the league a little bit and pay for it. And now you need a rebuild.
We all expected that, to be honest, Shaun. When we got into Europe and we sat here before the season started, and many fans said, with the Europe factor and the size of our squad, we expect us. And many fans said, if we have a good run in both domestic cups, which we did do, we got to the quarters of the Carabao Cup, we got to the 5th round of the FA Cup. We have a good go in the Europa League, which we've already done, and we finished 8th. Many West Ham fans, and we would have went, you know what, we'll take that. That's brilliant. The crossroads analogy is spot on, to be honest, because we're at this crossroads now, whether we're going to slip back down and we're going to go back where we came from, or we're going to inject some serious money into this in the summer. £100 million. Let's get 5 flipping good players in for, £25 million, solid quality, Premier League proven, very good standard players, or something to that extent. Will that happen? Possibly not with the owners we've got. But the fact is, if we finish 8th, will the owners be understanding? I think so, because it's the small club mentality that the fact is that we're here and we shouldn't really be here. We've been fantastic over the last 2 years, but we're still at this stage now where, we're going to away games thinking a point is good, which isn't what should happen when we're going away to, Leicester and saying a point is good. If we want to be getting into this top 4 and getting that mentality up, we've got to say we've got to win this game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from. I just think, and I know Moyes is stubborn. You've said that enough. Whether stubbornness will cost him his job one day, I don't know. But I don't buy the we were tired when he chucked out more or less the same team. Do you know what I mean? He could have played for a point and rested 3. I don't know. I'm not knocking him because he's done wonders for you. He just reminds me of those old school coaches where a bit like Mourinho. The older Mourinho got, he just got so stubborn, too good for his own good. He would not change. He would not do anything different. The fans turned on him because he's just would not change. I think it's just maybe it's an age thing in coaches. I don't know, but Like I said, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I don't buy into the we were tired from Thursday when other teams around from Europe had probably more strenuous nights, should I put it, and come back and got better results.
Yeah. Our squad is way too thin. Apache says it's not strange till we beat Tottenham all the time. Beating Seville was a much a much bigger that was
beat Tottenham twice in the last 19. I think I read before kickoff. By the way,
2 from 19.
I think
Really?
so. That's what I know. There's probably a lot of draws, but yeah, I read it. It was 2 for 19. So it's
I can't believe that.
I'm not sure if that was just at Tottenham's place or not.
Might have been. Oh God. Got something in the back of my throat there. Right, final comments before we go. Happy Hammerette says we've already made history at the London Stadium, and that is amazing. A big window in the summer, and we will come back stronger than ever next season. That's where we're at now. Is that we understand we've got a small squad, and we understand that probably we're not going to get top 4 this year. We won't get top 4, and will we huff and puff to the finish line? Possibly. That's what happen, but if we do that and we, even if we don't get past Leon and we put up a good fight in the quarterfinals, and the key is we bring in plenty of good players in the summer and then we go again and we try and stay up there. It could have gone a lot worse this year and we could have really fizzled out in the league and down into the bottom half, with Europe, almost like what Leicester have done this year. They've been up here for a good few years, winning the league in 15-16, and they've been in the Champions League every now and then in the last few years, but they fizzled out this season down into 12th, and we haven't done that. We've stuck by it. When we haven't been playing well, we haven't been losing many games at the London Stadium. We've been picking up draws. We were atrocious against Newcastle when they were on the rise. We still managed to get a point. There's building blocks in this side now, and a few of them building blocks are going to be taken away from players that are leaving out of contract but we've got to build up back up and come back bigger and better than ever, which hopefully that's what we will do next year. Oh, here he is. Look at him. Look at him. I hope you well, Chris. Hope you're keeping well, my friend. Oh, sorry, 10th Leicester. Apologies. Well, you were 13th at one point, Chris. So, steady on 10th, you'll be getting that nosebleed again. I'm only joking. But right, we will leave it there. But just before we do final comment, Happy says, I just hope that Moyes doesn't put stupid bids in again in the summer window and actually gets deals done. Yeah, that's what he's got to do. But we'll have to wait and see. Shaun, I've got there's quite a few comments here. Right, let's take this final one. So one question: if you don't win Europa League and finish 8th, no European qualification, will that be a good season? I'd hope many West Ham fans will be understanding, and the fact is that the squad size we've got being in Europe, we had a flipping good run in the Europa League. We did well in the cups, and we often puffed to the line. I think most West Ham fans will be understanding of that. To be honest with you, finishing 8th, it's not the worst thing in the world. Is it better than finishing 7th? Some would argue. Because look what Arsenal have done. I know we're not on the level of Arsenal and the players they've got there, but a season out, a season in Europe, getting it there, having a season out to concentrate, getting up that league, getting back into Europe, and then building again might be the way. But anyway, we could be here all night. Thanks everybody for watching the Premier League Roundup show. We've gone more West Ham Spurs based tonight because obviously we had to, I suppose. Shaun, thank you very much for your input and coming on tonight.
No worries, buddy. Good fun.
I will catch you next week. And final comment, thank you very much, Chris. Big up the panel and be sure to subscribe and follow. This is a great channel and a good team. Thank you very much, Chris. And go and subscribe to Leicester Till I Die TV if you like 6.5 minute intros before you get into something. But I'm joking, Chris. We love your intros. But yeah. From me and Shaun, from me, come on your irons. We'll come back better after the international break. A well-earned rest for the players and for us on air to recharge our batteries and come back for that Everton game where I won't be there. I'll be on a cruise ship. So go and watch everyone else for a week because then I'll be back and come back and watch me. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to West Ham Official. Come on your irons and we'll catch you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.